It's midnight and I'm not even sleepy, so it's okay if I play some video games. Because I'm not sleepy, so it's fine. 4 hours later and he's still awake. Yeah, I don't even get sleepy around this time anyway, because I'm a late sleeper, so I'll just scroll on Instagram for a bit more. Let's look at some bitches. Do you think Jeffrey woke up feeling energized and motivated for the next day? Of course he didn't. Do you think he's gonna go to the gym tomorrow and hit a PR? Obviously not. Do you think his testosterone levels are surging through the roof? Well, just look at his gyno. Adonis. Adonis has the perfect sleep schedule. Before the sun has even set, Adonis retires back to his cave, ready to end the day and get some needed rest. He meditates by candlelight for 1 whole hour before journaling about his goals. He tapes his mouth shut because he doesn't want to mouth breathe at nighttime, and he finally falls asleep. 71% of UK adults don't sleep long enough. In this video, I'm going to break down the easy steps that you can follow that I've personally implemented and really found secret tips that no one else speaks about that will drastically improve your sleep schedule. Why should you follow what I say here? Because my sleep habits are very, very good. I fall asleep literally 10 to 15 minutes consistently every single night. The first and one of the most important things is that make sure you need and deserve the sleep. Have you actually through the day fatigued your body and mind through hard work? I found that the days that I've bitched out and acted like a Jeffrey through the day and just wasted time, my sleep's worse. But when I become more like Adonis and I do the right things each and every day, by the time it gets dark and it's time for bed, I'm literally so tired that I can't wait to get into bed. If it gets to nighttime and you've still got so much energy, guess what that means? You didn't use that energy in the day. Go train harder. Don't be afraid of overtraining or all this other bullshit that you see online. Go train harder like a warrior. You've heard of the shitty advice where people tell you not to use devices 3 hours before bedtime. It's not really true. You can literally still have your laptop or your phone on even right to the minute that you fall asleep. But there's 2 important caveats. 1, make sure that the brightness is low and that you've also turned on the night shift, like the blue light filter, so that the screen is red. That's really important. But 2, make sure that if you are on your phone or laptop before bed, you're not going to look at anything that will psychologically trigger you. For example, for me, I'm literally looking at a screen till the minute that I pass out. Either it's my phone or my Kindle on low brightness and I'm reading something. And that's fine. That's healthy. That's how I've fallen asleep perfectly. Everyone who says like don't look at devices before bedtime, I know for a fact that they're falling asleep way later than I am, because reading puts you to sleep like fantastically, and the best way to read is to get a Kindle, put it onto low brightness, and that's technically a device. What you don't want, which a lot of Jeffreys do, is to be on your phone in the last few hours and to be on the normal apps like Instagram, Twitter, whatever, and you're gonna get triggered. You go onto Twitter and there's people arguing about politics, and because you're a fucking dickhead, you join in arguing with people that you don't even know about, like, oh yeah, Donald Trump. Like, shut the fuck up, bro. What's wrong with people like just arguing about politics and religion and stuff? Like, just go meditate, bro. Like, what the fuck? Like, you're broke. Why the fuck are you arguing with people about something that doesn't even concern you, dickhead? For me as a YouTuber, if I go onto like the YouTube and I see some comments that can trigger me, so sometimes you can check YouTube at nighttime and you see some comment from a dickhead like, oh, by the way, you're like this, or you're wrong about this, and that starts to trigger you mentally. So if you are gonna use a screen, which I personally do, make sure it's something that can't trigger you. Best case scenario, it's a book. You can read books on your phone, make sure the brightness is low. Best case scenario, just get Kindle. One of the greatest things that you can do, which is pretty difficult for a lot of people, but if you've got a lot of money, you'll be interested in this. Make sure that your room and the bed is absolutely the perfect temperature. Now, most people need to reduce the temperature of the room by a few degrees, and it's different for everyone, but I think it's roughly about 16 to 18 degrees Celsius for most people to sleep better. We're supposed to cool down first and then we fall asleep. Now, the issue is that you can have air conditioning. You can have a fan like I've got let me show you. Sam's sleeping in my bed, but I've got a fan right there. Boom, I've got air conditioner way up there. And those are nice, but guess what? They're still not enough. If you want to perfect your sleep, and not just improve it slightly, but perfect it, what you need to do, which you're going to hate me for because it's really expensive, you need to save up over an entire year or so, or however long it's going to take you, to save up a few £1,000s to get a very high level thermo-regulating, like this electronic device that will perfectly heat or cool your bed to the perfect temperature. Now, this is so extreme that there's no point me talking about this, because literally 99.99% of people will never buy this, and they'll think like, wait, I'm not spending £2,000 on a mattress thing. That's a rip-off. Nothing is a rip-off for your sleep. There's no price tag that's too high for your sleep. This should be like, if you really want to be like fucking top tier man, and you like really want to aspire to listen to my advice and to improve yourself, this should be one of your goals. Save up roughly about $2,000, however long it's going to take you, so that you can buy one of these products. There is the 8 Sleep Pod cover. There's the Sleep Me Chili Pad. You can find these. Some of them are like $700. Some of them, the best one is the 8 Sleep Pod 3 Pro mattress cover. cover, whatever. That's about $2,000. It's really expensive, so you might be getting pissed off, oh, I can't afford it. It's a very worthy goal to reach for. Maybe it'll take you 2 years, maybe it'll take you 6 months. Whatever it is, I would add that to your goal page because that's a really nice product to buy. Just one of these products alone will improve your sleep by 20-30%, which essentially means that you are 30% better at your work, which is fucking huge. If you want to destroy your competition, get a good night rest. And a good way to do that in terms of spending money, buy one of these expensive products that literally perfectly heat or cool your bed. The one that I had in the UK was the 8 Sleep Pod 3 mattress cover, brilliant. And the one that I have here in Dubai is the Sleep Me Chili Pad Ula, some bullshit like that, it's like 2K. There's another thing you could do that most people just struggle with. This is so easy to just fix, bro. Just go to bed roughly at the same time every day and wake up roughly at the same time every single day. Simple as that. Most people don't want to follow this advice because they like having, or not so much that they like, but they allow disruption and chaos into their schedule, which shows that they don't really respect themselves. You should be able to create order in your household. If you say to me like, oh, but some nights I can't sleep because I've got to work, I'm just thinking like, what kind of work are you? Like, fair enough if you're in some emergency or some shit, fine. But you should be able to control your schedule so that you can go to sleep at the same time every night and wake up at the same time every day, including weekends. Don't bullshit, bro. There's no such thing as a weekend. Weekends are a modern fucking construction. There's like, humans don't have that shit. It's literally you wake up at the same time, you go to sleep roughly at the same time. So you want to know the perfect sleep schedule. It's not waking up at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. You want to know the real perfect sleep schedule for you, which is so anticlimactic, and your ego's not going to like this because you would have loved to wake up early. The perfect sleep schedule for you is the one that you could maintain for the rest of your life. What is a reasonable time that you could get into bed every single day for the rest of your life? No bullshit. No, like, oh yeah, it's 7 p.m. I could wake up really early for some parts. No. What time could you go to sleep every single day for the rest of your life? It'd have to be reasonable. For me, maybe it's about 9 to 10 p.m. For a lot of other people, it'll be 11 or 12. You know what's better than the perfect schedule? Like, you know, maybe you'll get slightly better sleep. Like, there's research that shows you'll get better sleep if you go to sleep at 10. But guess what? Actually, there's research that proves whatever sleep schedule you have isn't important. It's the consistency that matters more. So whether you go to sleep at 10, 12, 1, you need to figure out right here, right now, no bullshit, what is the time that you could go to bed every single day for the rest of your life? Not taking weekends off. Not like, you know, being on monk mode for the rest of your life, not speaking to friends, not being around girls or anything. What is a reasonable time? For me, I'll say 9 to 10. And then what is a time for you to wake up reasonably for the rest of your life? For me, sometimes I like waking up really early. So originally I would have been a dickhead and said, oh yeah, 5 a.m. or 4:30. Could I wake up at that time every single day for the rest of my life? It's a bit extreme. So for me, it's probably 10 to about 6:30. That's what I could follow literally every single day without even needing discipline for it. Once you know that, just be on that schedule, because you know you can do all these little movements. You can pretend to wake up at 4 a.m. for a fucking YouTube video like you see these dickhead YouTubers do. But the best case scenario, you set this schedule and you never change it again for the rest of your life. 10 to 6:30. If that's reasonable for you, set it, never change it again. And then finally, the last thing that you can do, which Andrew Huberman has been posting about so much, and we all need to follow it. As soon as you wake up, go and get sunlight as fast as possible. If you're privileged like me and you live in an apartment, but you've got a balcony, go step out on the balcony. If you live in a normal house or something, go just in your back garden, go in the front garden, go for a walk around your street. Literally just a few minutes. It's better if it's longer, but just a few minutes will drastically change your what's that shit called? Circadian rhythm. Just the shit about sleep, right? Circadian rhythm, that's it. I'm glad you're here, bro.
No problem.
How's your sleep, bro?
Well, Hamza had me up at 6 a.m. this morning, so I'm coping. I'm not built for this shit, bro.
So this is what you do in terms of getting sunlight in the morning. You wake up at a time, you know, which is reasonable. And if you can see outside, this is something that I've said, and it's almost like eye-opening to a lot of people. You know, I've said like I get sunlight as soon as you wake up, and you might be thinking, wait, but the sun's not out when I wake up. No, you might be wrong with that. By getting sunlight, it doesn't mean that you step outside and the sun is, you know, shining down at you. It means that it is daylight outside. If you can see outside, you know, it's not completely pitch black. That means that there's sunlight there, which then means that you are getting sunlight if you literally just stand outside, even if it's cloudy. People in the UK like to cope and say, oh, but there's no sunlight here, oh, the weather's so shit. Yeah, of course the weather's shit in the UK. Yeah, of course you're gonna get stabbed if you live there. But if you stand outside on a day where you can see daylight, but it's not sunny, but there, you can see, you know, it's daytime, you can see, well then you're getting sunlight, because the light, you can go get like an app to test this if you want, which you can see how much light there is. You know, your phone has like a sensor, you press this app and it shows you that in terms of like numbers, it's like 50, 100 inside of a room. So I've got like, you know, big recording lights. If I put this app on, it would show me that the lux rating of this room is maybe 100, 200, something like that, right? When you take it outside, even on a day where it's rainy and coldy and windy, and you take it outside and you test the light outside compared to your room, it will literally show you a number that needs to have, you know, like the small number to the corner of it, which means that to the power of what? So it'll show you a number like 10 to the power of like, I don't know, 18 or some bull. That's too high, but you get what I mean. So it literally is so high that they can't even display it on the screen. The light that you have in your room room is nothing compared to even a cloudy day outside. So it's not so much that you need direct sunlight. You literally, just quite frankly, you need to go outside. If you've got a balcony, fantastic. If you've got a back garden, fantastic. If not, you need to wake up and go outside ASAP for a few minutes. Look at the sky. Don't be a dumbass Jeffrey and like look directly at the sun. Like just look at the sky a little bit. If there's a part of the sky that's a bit brighter, look at that for a bit. This light will go into your eyes and will regulate your sleeping pattern. Then another very interesting point is be outside and do the exact same thing around sunset. If you can see, this is how humans are supposed to live, right? Humans are supposed to see the sun go down. And when your eyes witness this, they witness the sun, like the light slowly dim and dim and dim and it gets dark. Think about how important that is. We as modern humans live such a fucked lifestyle where this is seen as like mind-blowing research. But really think about cavemen. Think about how important it is for their eyes to witness the sunset, because that is what would cause them to want to fall asleep. In modern days, like we don't even see the sun. And one important point that Andrew Huberman said, that you can't just look at it through a window. The casing, you know, the glass that is in a window kind of takes away the importance of the rays. You quite specifically need to be outside. Again, I'm so privileged that I have a balcony where I can see the sun come up and I can also see it go down. So it's like, it's easy for me. I literally just go stand on the balcony in the morning and also at the nighttime. If you can do this, you know, all these other ones are nice. Oh, I don't use devices, but at least for me, the one that's given me the most improvement is actually just sunlight and sunset. It's so easy to do, but it's so easy not to do. It's so easy to just wake up a little bit later and be like, oh, you know, I'm busy. I'm not going to go outside today or whatever. It's so easy to like be 5 p.m., 6 p.m. The sun's going down. You're like, oh, whatever, you know, I'm working right now. I'll do it later or something. But when you get it done and you improve your sleep, and that night's sleep that you have is so nice, you almost don't even realize that it's come from literally just looking at some light or looking at some darkness. It's so simple, but the improvement has changed my life. There's more techniques that I've used to fall asleep faster. I have an old video on my channel which is titled something like how I fall asleep in 11 minutes. You can click and watch that video right now. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah.